Well, welcome back to another glorious disaster piece otherwise known as Disinformed After Dark. I'm Shane.
I'm John.
I'm Michael.
I'm Courtney.
And for you marvelous uninitiated few, if you don't know who we are, shame on you.
For shame.
We have a marvelous podcast which flees your preferred provider app every single marvelous Monday morning, and you can find it there. We will delve into a random esoteric topic, and in the course of explaining it, we will lie to one another. And the joy is in separating the fact from the fiction for the co-hosts. And you should tune in. It's a lot of fun. But what this episode is it's our little video companion cast that we throw up here on the Tubes of You to kind of decompress from the week's efforts, have a little fun, and then wait for Chuck Klosterman to get us hate mail.
Yeah, he's out of free speech jail, though, this week, right?
He's brought back into the rotation, and if that means he's going to sit and spin, we'd all be far more entertained, I'm sure.
For sure.
But I think that is a significant amount of preamble aside. But I believe John has got some tasty victuals for all of our eyes and ears to sample.
These are more. I would actually say that I'm just a conduit for Courtney, because she sends me these things and I forget that she sends them, and then I find them really funny, and then I want to show you guys, especially Shane, because Shane responds the best to these because he's not really in it.
He's not hip with the kids these days.
So, wow. And you've got your finger on the pulse.
No, I
don't.
obviously
Lies how cool you are. So,
well,
yeah.
So let me ask you a question. Would you rather start? Because I have two. They're short clips to show you. Do you want to start with hardware or pizza?
Yes.
I think I want the pizza as the back half here, so I can get the taste out of my mouth.
You have a
good point.
Tasty treat coming your way.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm scared.
All right. Let me get this pulled up here.
So what we're establishing here is that Courtney is the pusher and you are the conduit.
Sure.
Or the user / junkie.
Yeah. What you said.
All right. Checks out.
Here we go. You seeing what I'm seeing?
Indeed we are.
Oh no.
All right. Here we go.
What's a video that lives in your head rent-free?
Are you ready to go? In a minute. I was thinking maybe we should have your mother over for dinner next weekend.
She's pretty ill. She's probably in the hospital.
That's funny. I talked to her today.
What?
Yeah. I needed some legal advice.
What do you mean?
Well, I found out she's a lawyer, and I wanted to find out about filing a criminal report on a little thief.
Ah, shit.
She suggested I give the little thief a spanking.
I knew this was coming.
Now drop your pants.
They missed a golden opportunity in saying that, since the mother was part of the barrister clan, that, she needed him to explore her briefs.
That just, I don't know. We talked about Big Sausage Pizza, and that kind of reminded me of a version,
Not anywhere close, my friend.
All right. Well, you said you needed a palate cleanser.
So here comes Big Sausage Pizza.
Yeah, so we'll end with pizza.
Okay, you haven't spanked me hard enough yet.
Here we go. And sorry, the clip is sideways.
Why are we seeing her again?
What's a video that lives in your head rent-free?
Hey pizza lovers, I'm Dick, and I'm here to announce the grand opening of my brand new pizzeria, Dick's Pizza. Not sure how much dicks you can handle? No sweat. Because even our smallest dicks are 10 inches long. Pardon? There's a bunch of dicks at your door, we deliver. So get off your computer and eat dicks. For more information, click here. It's big and it's gooey, it's saucy and it's chewy. What's in my mouth? It's gotta be dicks.
That's good marketing right there. I want pizza right now.
And that's why with no warning, I can turn to Becky on the couch at night and go. It's like Shane's story about driving past what's the sushi restaurant. Isn't there's a restaurant near where you live that you yell as you're driving by and
Yes, give me some fish. Yes,
yeah, give me some fish.
Good old slapfish. I feel
even our smallest sticks are 10 inches long.
I feel like they're missing a branding opportunity, you know, to join the slapfish with the dicks, and you could have slap dicks.
I thought you'd like that one though.
Well, you thought wrong, but
it's because Martin didn't direct it.
It's important because there were no slow moving, Steadicam shots in that.
There's some dope CG though.
I agree. So when are you putting in an application?
Oh, I'm thinking about 8 o'clock tonight.
Okay. I look forward to future endeavoring you by the time we get through with this. Yeah. Well.
Anyway, it's got to be dicks.
I hope you get to eat a dick soon.
I would love nothing more than to have a medium-sized dick in my mouth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can take that to the clip bank.
You do like the meaty dicks, though. Now that you've changed out of your formerly vegan Hold on. I need to swallow. Where's my wallet? Gotta stop the tongue from going down my throat. Yes.
I could have a meaty dick.
If you ordered one off Amazon. But all right. This week brought to us by Mr. Chuck Klosterman and I don't know. Jeebus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not problematic stuff.
Yeah. Here's hoping. Well, this is sponsored by Dicks, so I imagine it's going to be a little...
Gotta be Dicks.
Yep. We have... Body versus mind.
All right. Let's see how many paragraphs this one's going to take.
18.
It's actually, it folds open.
It's
just
a six
got a
Carter.
huge, Oh, shoot.
You are given a choice between two rewards. The first reward is to be twice as intelligent as you are now.
2 times 0 is still 0. Sorry, continue.
By that statement alone, I would say that you are belying your idiocy. You will be able to read twice as fast and remember twice as much. The size of your vocabulary will double, and you'll be able to solve intellectual problems with twice your current aptitude. The second reward is that you will never again feel sick, even if you are. And you can always be whatever weight you want, regardless of what you eat or how little you exercise. You can simply imagine the body you would like to have, and that is the weight you will magically become. Which reward do you choose?
Oh, wow. We're back to straightforward Klostermans.
I feel like he should have spent like a couple other paragraphs outlining how you can, like, what exact weight you can imagine if you really want weight. And weight, he's talking about like how much your body weighs.
Hey, Michael, do you want me to break the YouTube edge here, or do you want to just shut yourself up for a second? You were saying, Courtney? Love you, Michael.
Shame.
Finally.
The ultimate mute button. Non-existence.
Helen Keller?
Hello? I like the body one. I feel like
So you're saying you think that you have a high enough intelligence quotient that you don't need the extra cream on the top?
No, I'm saying mo intelligence equals mo problems.
Okay.
Like if I can be whatever weight that I want and still eat the garbage that I routinely and constantly crave, but it's like just be able to pick a number out of my hat and then just transform to that, then I think my self-confidence would instantly improve, which I would almost value more than my intelligence. And again, to jump off of the intelligence thing, I don't want to know everything. I don't want to know more. Like I feel like the more, if I could process things in a more intelligible way, it would really screw up my equilibrium. I don't know. I'm
You
not
don't
as
need
smart.
to entertain your notion of your placement in the grand scheme of things any more than you already
Right.
do.
It's like if it's increasing your intelligence double on top of everything you already know, then the odds of me knowing something that I don't want to know is in that, multiplication.
Mhm.
And I'm good. As someone who you find things out the older you get, I'm good just to take the ride right now. I'd rather be able to eat pizza every single meal and stay 170, 173.
I think I see you're kind of saying that you would just prefer to stay plugged into the Matrix as opposed to being Neo and seeing the source code everywhere.
You know what I say? Ignorance is bliss. Yeah, there you go. There's your steak.
I appreciate
moment.
that.
Yes. I would rather have the steak moment, but then also I'd leave on the side betraying my friends. I would not unplug my friends from the Matrix, but I would like to stay in and eat my steak.
I'm gonna regret saying this, Michael.
No, John actually makes a good point. Like,
He's big and he's gooey.
his dicks. What's in your mouth? But
You have to tune
Anyway.
into our fanfic reads to figure out the answer to that question.
But anyway, like, yeah, it would be cool to be smart, but will I be able to use it? Will it be useful, or will I just be like the kind of person's like, I know all this stuff, I can just pretend to be, or I can just be a pretentious person, know it all. I wouldn't want it. What's the point in that?
I'm desperately trying not to pounce right now, Michael, but
I would choose the body.
okay.
Welcome to my body.
It's not worth having all that increased intelligence if you can't actually utilize it.
What are you?
I mean, the argument would be that, you're able to start figuring out how to properly apply your intellect when you reach a certain state of being intelligent, maybe.
I mean, I'd say based off of my current intelligence, it hasn't really helped me at all. So,
well, maybe you just need to be doubly more intelligent.
That's why I'm in college for 10 years. Oh boy, look at me. I honestly would choose the body. I feel I would be happier that way.
Yeah, we've established. Okay. Courtney.
There you go. Not a 10-minute thing.
Sure about
My
that?
answer is it's two parts. One, I've never been hot before, so it'd be cool to be hot for the first time in my life. I think that'd be fun.
You don't fish for compliments around us. You
I'm
don't
not.
need the rest of us slobberingly tripping over ourselves to say to the contrary.
So that would be like part one, and then part two would be I am chronically sick. I have an autoimmune disease. So to not deal with that, to not be in chronic pain every day, that actually alone would be enough. The hot would be like a bonus, but like to just not be in chronic pain would be like
Just
really
have
chill.
a little light switch to be like, yeah, I could feel like shit today. Or
Well, no, it never said that you could turn on and off these symptoms. It just said that you don't
never feel sick.
it. Yeah, you can still be sick, but you just don't feel it. Which, I mean, if chronic pain is one of the symptoms and it's gone,
I feel like you'd spend a lot less on like booze and pot.
It would be a game changer. I could stop taking a lot of different prescription medications and not have to inject myself with poison. It'd be super rad.
Choose your own and then save money in the process. It's a win-win.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
And on the subject of saving money, you could eat really cheap, atrocious food and sustain yourself and never have to worry about your figure.
You love cheap food.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't spend like $300 over the weekend on food. It's fine.
I thought you were gonna say $300 over the
Taco
weekend.
Bell,
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
No,
that's a lot of Taco Bell.
I feel this takes us into a far more interesting topic of conversation, which is when you have gone to any degree of, culinary training. Does it absolutely sour you on anything short of sort of fine cuisine going forward when you've had the apex? Do you still have moments where it's rather than desperation, which often is what, Taco Bell's there, it's around the corner, and it's $5 for a big old box of stuff. But I mean, secretly, are you just pining for, you know what I would really love to have if I could get my hands on? I would make this instead of this dreck I'm having presently.
I have watched Courtney and her husband eat lukewarm Taco Bell while drunk and claim it to be almost better than things that they cook at home.
But see, this is also while drunk. That's an important caveat to include there.
Hey, winning's winning.
So I'll put it to you this way, and it sounds snobbier than it is. So Joan and I have eaten at what was once considered the greatest restaurant in the world. We traveled overseas to eat at what was known as the best restaurant in the world. And yesterday we had a day off together, and KFC had a new chicken sandwich. And so we had to go try it so we could compare it to Popeyes.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a genuine amount of pleasure and joy that we take from that, like, simple, like, this is what everybody can eat. And there's something special about the everyman's food that I think is overlooked when you talk about fine dining. Sure, I can eat ants on raw beef and spend $600 on a meal, and that's fun, but it's not a meal that you're going to enjoy with your friends. It's not a meal that you're going to enjoy with other people that you care about. And I think that half of the pleasure of eating is the experience and who you're doing it with. And so for that reason, I would say that we're not food snobs. We really enjoy food of all ranges.
Okay.
Probably the same rationale as saying, like, drinking a bottle of Thunderbird wine versus having, a specifically crafted, really beautiful IPA. You just want to get drunk at some point. You really don't care what the quality is that you're taking, given the circumstance.
Sterile, and I like the taste.
I'll take the heartburn from the box wine, but if it's in good company.
It makes all the sense in the world. So
Well,
here
Shane,
is, I was going to say, here's the obvious fat kid trying to avoid saying that, yes, anything I could do in this world to avoid continuing to look like a bridge troll wearing a burlap sack would be great. Yeah, I would love to do that. Obviously, stealing my own thunder, would love to say I could not improve upon my intellect at all. But no, I already feel like there has been a firmly established sort of veneer between myself and the rest of the world just based on my inability to articulate myself to other people in a way that makes sense to them. And so I don't think I need to dig that well any deeper in order to continue to alienate myself. Maybe I could, make my own spacecraft and just propel myself out into outer space and talk to nothing but my onboard robot, Kevin, the drug-sniffing dog. But there's a little bit from the episode this week, which I hope it endures because it's a great character.
He sold bricks on bricks on bricks on bricks, and now he's in space.
He used all of the money that was found in that underground drug layer in order to fund his Amazon-like space program with Jeff Bezos.
You can control your body, and he, just because of a magical ability, he controls his body weight with Coke. You ever seen a fat dog doing Coke? They don't exist.
But yes.
True.
You ever seen a barber do Coke?
Once. Twice.
That's
Three
three
times in
strikes.
10 games.
Well, so yes, TLDR on me, to steal the Louis C.K. joke, like, I have to work really hard to continue to look this awful. And so if I could manage to mitigate that in some way, shape, or form, I would gladly do so. I would probably be very giddy based on that option. So there you are. For an easy layup of a question, we have run the gambit.
We're all shallow as can be.
No, I think, again, to steal from better comedians than myself, like Kevin James, I would just like to be able to brush my teeth without, like, some form of, shifts in the tectonic plates of my body occurring at all times. It would just be really great to not do the Homer Simpson fat test of slapping my stomach and waiting for the timer when it stops jiggling. It'd be really great. I have no end to this bit, so I will just orchestrate a small bow. John, do you want to talk about any of your more bizarre predilections on this show? I needed to get that word in edgewise since I stumbled so significantly over it earlier.
No. I got my copy of IML Inscandido. I butchered that.
Bless you. Do you need medical response?
Richard Edwards B-side and demo LP for Soft Ache in the Moon, which I was trying to tell you on the episode, and I would gladly loan it to you in the future. It's well worth
Can't wait to get rid of it.
No, it's great because the whole album is piano driven, so hearing it on acoustic and like the origins of the songs is really cool. Also, go ahead.
Sorry, you got Michael riveted because.
And then the other is that Becky and I's anniversary was this week, and we bought the extended Lord of the Rings 4K, and over the past week and a half, watched through the entire trilogy, like the extendeds. And now I'm also, in addition to reading Dune, I'm going to be reading Lord of the Rings finally for the first time ever in my entire life.
Have you ever given thought to listening to the cast commentary of those?
No, but I'm watching the special features.
They are at least what I remember, because I did one of those, like, sit and watch all three of them, drink while you do it. The parts that I remember are hilarious.
As a absolute cinema fiend, most commentary tracks vary in quality. The commentary tracks all across the board, including the production teams, the writers and director, like all of the commentary on Lord of the Rings is absolutely phenomenal. And Stand By Melissa and I are both huge fans. Also, all the supplemental material on those is some of the most entertaining material that I have had on any form of video release that I have ever encountered. So, good call.
Yeah, I'm having fun with it. Just figured I'd let you guys know.
But the stories can be a little meandering, I will tell you. So if you really want some sort of, quick fulfillment, that may not be as rewarding a first experience for you as some things may be.
No, I'm in it for the slow burn. I think it's because The Dark Tower kind of got me prepped to enjoy the slower burns.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, so after we finished watching one of the extendeds, Becky had fallen asleep, and I was watching some of the special features for Fellowship. And it was like, in the beginning, they were talking about Tolkien and how, one, he hated technology, which is really, I don't know why it took me off guard a little bit, but then I started thinking about the time in which the books were written, and I was like, that kind of makes sense. And then my favorite thing, and it's what immediately, I was like, I'm gonna have to read it now. Is him explicitly saying in his foreword that people, because of when the final book, or by the time it was over, it was in the mid 40s or late 40s when Return of the King came out, so completed the trilogy, that people would try and look at his works as an analogy. Or look at the book as an analogy for things that were going on in the world. And he explicitly says, and I've read through the introduction to this point, that it is not meant to be an analogy in any way, shape, or form, and that he, in fact, hates analogies and he hates metaphor, and he just wants it to be taken as a story. For better or worse, just take it as a story. And I like that message a lot. I could hate the rest of the book, and I could just love the fact that he's like, you know what? No, I just want to tell a story, and I don't care. Like, you take the meaning that you want to take out of it, and that's for you. But if you want why I'm writing it, I just wanted to write a story.
Yeah, it's not allegory.
He wrote the stories to kind of fill in the gaps for his languages that he developed. I mean, that's I don't know if that's true, but like I heard someone say it, and it makes a lot of sense considering how much he loves language, and that was his whole profession.
He even says, because I'm only through the prologue at this point.
I am a Tolkien scholar because I have read the prologue.
He says in the prologue somewhere already that a lot, like, there is a little section being like, oh, this is basically just here so that you know why X tongue is passed down from generation to generation. I was like, oh, okay. But anyway, that's my nerd corner. You asked about anything else. There I am.
Well, I will tell you, I didn't mean to condemn with faint praise the marvelous masterpiece that is the Lord of the Rings trilogy in particular, because I will tell you, I was reading the books in the midst of the films being released, because again, I was a young man as opposed to the rest of you who were, a glimmer in your
babes.
I was just off my mom's tit.
So that was last week. So the first book or the first film had come out, and then I started reading the series to try to catch up because I had not been initiated yet. And not spoiling anything, since most of us have seen it here. And if you have not encountered the Lord of the Rings in book or film form, shame on you.
Whoa.
But having read through the books and reached the point where Gandalf gets to ride out as Gandalf the White, and actually, the glorious beam of light shoots up into the sky and he's fighting the Nazgul, I broke down and sobbed as though the closest family member to me on the planet had died in my arms. So the story is very emotionally moving, even if it is like, you had no other frame of reference and you're just riding along with the characters just in a written form. I absolutely loved it, but I tend to enjoy some fantasy and science fiction more than most. So results may vary.
Yeah, I think we're probably gonna have a pretty similar opinion.
Yeah, because you enjoy world building, which is what he is. That's what I've told a lot of people that haven't read him, is that he is phenomenal at world building.
Mm-hmm.
The story is it's not his strongest quality, but they're still very good. The books are fantastic, but the world that he crafts, and then he takes you through that world. And I think that's where I get that connection with his books, and I really enjoy them for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not even like there's a little bit of history for everything that he goes through. It's like, no, if like there's far off places that he may have mentioned, someone mentioned in passing, that have a rich detailed history, or places that aren't even mentioned in those books that are mentioned in like the Silmarillion or something like that have a rich detailed history. And it's that sort of thing that really pulls me into his worlds, because it's so detailed. It's a history. It's history.
Well, as with most folkloric storytelling, it is, as is often espoused in that story, it is about the journey as opposed to the destination.
Yes.
You want to, really try to envelop everybody in what's going on. So good luck.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
How is Dune thus far, by the way, since we're going blow by blow on the experience for you?
I'm moving super slow. I've had a busy week, so I've read the prologue of Lord of the Rings and probably like 10 pages of Dune and a chapter of Last Book on the Left. And then I've started reading like I used to, which is like having 6 books that I read like 10 pages at a time.
I don't know how you do this.
That sounds awful.
I don't know how I do it
painful.
either, but I'm also reading it's a book called Raven, and it is almost 800 pages. It's like the definitive Jonestown book, or Jim Jones book. That and Heaven's Gate are a topic that I'm really, really fascinated by. So I've owned the book Raven for probably 2 years, and I just finally picked it up. So
Jason Mewes or I should say anecdotally, Kevin Smith said for a doctor of Jason Mewes that they described attention deficit disorder as an individual who is sitting in front of a bank of 100 television monitors, all rapidly changing channels at once and trying to pay attention to what's going on. This sounds like your reading habits.
Kind of. But the thing is that it shifts. Like I'll go from being very, very singular, and then I'll get the distractions. It comes in waves. So like when I was reading Dark Tower, that's all I really read was Dark Tower. Like when it was Dark Tower time, it was only Dark Tower. It's almost like I'm doing like a fight for my attention, like which one wins, like which one's the most captivating to me, and then I'll latch onto that and then bang that out and then go back to the one.
So you're casting.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Well, not to turn Disinformed After Dark into an hour episode every single bloody time, I started attempting to audition other writers. I dove into The Only Good Indians this week. And
it's a very interesting book, I thought.
To prove that my monogamous relationship with Dr. Stephen King is going to continue. I got 15 pages into that book and had to stop.
Yeah, it's the Lebowski thing. It's like it spends a lot of time trying to get you to stay invested in where it's going without telling you enough of where it's going. I can tell you that it's a good book.
Well, here's the thing.
Fun once over. I don't think I'd ever reread it.
I don't need the pitch, more so because even if I wanted to, much akin to Recursion, the narrative style was really jarring. So there were things that happened, for instance, just getting through this section where the gentleman, climbs up on the ladder to fix the strobing light and then somehow sees, the thing on the ground and then is falling off of the ladder, and somehow his girlfriend, in defiance of most physical laws, runs into the door and collides with him mid-air, saving him from having impact with I don't even know what. He's so vague in the descriptions, and then it's like, so he goes from something that is obviously supposed to be somewhat hallucinatory to something that is supposed to be actually happening in real life and doesn't transition out of it, doesn't indicate that there was a separation. It's just, and then he's holding her and smelling her hair, and she's telling him not to be so stupid and reckless with himself. And I'm like, motherfucker, I don't know where you are right now. I have no idea what's happening. You haven't, so everybody in this story off the bat is just hallucinating, which is great, but I don't care enough yet. You have to and there's run-on sentences like the one I'm speaking now, not to keep cutting you off, but like at one point in the opening section, there's like an 8-sentence paragraph with just commas, which to me, granted, I know... as an English major, it's like, I don't like building the car. I like driving it. So I don't really care about the nuts and bolts of it. So when I say that, it's not that, that's a misappropriated comma. But it's like, I have to at least get some, as a reader who does it professionally, you want cadence to be built in so that the reader isn't lost in this weird wafting sea of verbiage. And this author in particular did not do that for me. Anyway, I'm rambling. Sorry.
No, you're great.
Before you say anything, John, if you don't like that, real quick, if you don't like a million commas, you should never read Ben Shapiro's book. Because that is how
read it with your eyes.
As though that needed to be stated.
Also, Gina
Next
Carano,
fanfic.
whatever your name is, have fun promoting yourself to the Daily Wire. Bye-bye. That's a whole different thing.
Hey, she's really great at putting people in headlocks.
She was my least favorite part about The Mandalorian, and her getting fired, whether or not you agree with why or know why, her getting fired from The Mandalorian was the best thing that's ever happened to that show. Because her acting is atrocious to begin with.
Hot take.
Anyway, I listened to The Only Good Indians. So the narrator was fine. I think if I would have read it, I probably would have hit what you're talking to. It's like, there's a lot of stuff in that book that you have to really connect your own
dots.
Connect your own dots. I read rave reviews for it, and I agree with certain points on like why it's a fun story, but it's just not for me.
Mm-hmm.
I've constantly tugged on you and complimented you endlessly, but you as a friend have really built a strong mental for me of, if you're not enjoying it, it's not emblematic of you being a bad person.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like you can enjoy and, dislike what you enjoy and what you dislike, as long as it's not, harmful.
And the whole point is like, you're not trying to dissuade other people. Like, this is not me getting on a soapbox and saying, avoid this book. It's just for me, I couldn't invest in it. And Stephen actually was talking about this.
Stephen.
Thank you. I had to get the pause in for everybody to give the reference that it deserves so richly. But he was talking about this with Goodreads as well, as we've apparently the joys of the binge and purge educational system has dictated to us that I have to have a Goodreads aspiration this year, that I'm going to read 55 books, and then you're just reading things to get to your quota rather than because I felt like reading or I wanted to enjoy. And I really found last year I was somewhat doing that to a certain extent, that I was like, I have to read these books because I've got to get my 55 books read this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so this year I have only read one book thus far, and we're nearly 3 months in.
Wow.
So yeah, I just need to disconnect for a bit, but I go all the way around, and then we'll kill this before it gets going, because I think Courtney's going to strangle me with her eyes.
You'd be so lucky.
I finally picked up a couple different Stephen King things that I was trying to run with, Revival being one, and I stumbled headlong into within one of the opening chapters, not to spoil anything for anybody, but there is both a young child and a wife that were killed in a car accident by a gentleman having an epileptic seizure. And he follows that immediately by showing the main character going home to help his mom, who is dying of ovarian cancer, which is big trigger for Shane.
Gosh.
So I was like, this is doom porn, and I can't read this right now because I'm stressed enough. I don't need to get any further down. So I tucked that one away and went to another thing, and I found Joyland, which is not really one of the more heralded or highly praised King books, and I am loving it to death right now. I am several chapters in and could not stop myself. So there's a reason that he and I have gone beyond a casual flirtation, and I'm just kind of immersed because I love his writing style, his turn of phrase. There's one that I related to a good friend of ours, Sam, as he referred to somebody who just loves to show up and barf their problems onto other people.
Yeah, and one more thing, and then I'm good too. It's perfectly fine in my opinion to find the author or the artist that just does it for you. And it doesn't mean you're closed off to the rest of the world, but like, am I ever going to dislike the Deer Hunter? Barring something traumatic and tragic, probably not. Like, they are like, it's a comfort band. It's like, you went and you tried The Only Good Indians and it wasn't for you, but then you went back and you found a King book that you hadn't tried before and loved it. And I think there's something really cool in that, where it's like, Becky can show me the music that she finds on TikTok.
I'm glad you went a different direction with that.
Like, there's this artist Ashniko, which is probably gonna make its way. Yeah, which is probably going to make its way onto Damn Jams this coming month.
Which one?
Daisy.
Yes.
Most likely. But it's not good music.
No, it's terrible, but
so
it's
you
so
listen
good.
to Ashniko, and then you go listen to Deer Hunter, and all's right with the world. Like, it's kind of like a less problematic hall pass in your relationship,
Yeah, I was going to say, it's one of those glorious moments where, you've spent a lot of time with your significant other, and then you go out in the world and you engage in a conversation with another member of the opposite sex who, puts the vibes out, and you're like, oh, wow, I couldn't be around you for more than 5 minutes before I wanted to start throttling your head into the wall. So
yeah, I
not
was
even
thinking about
sexually.
that. I was thinking about that a lot because the anniversary week makes your heart even fonder,
right?
Or the anniversary time, and I was like,
hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. If you're lucky enough to have found a good one,
yes.
Yeah, it's very, very weird to think about it in those terms too, because I see hundreds of people a week, and I see hundreds of very attractive people a week, and half the time when they open their mouth, there's not a lot of fun things that come out of there's not a lot of engaging content. But my wife, she's a film, not content.
So there are plenty of Steadicam shots.
Oh yeah, she does the shit out of those truck unloading montages.
Ooh,
thank goodness. Well, maybe you can get some De Niro out of it.
I hope she has a pretty big trunk because I'm from a bike in it.
Okay, just don't.
And I'm Michael.
And me, Dad.
Yes, all right. Well, thank you all for being here again. We have plenty of content for you to sort through if you are desperate and greedy for more. Every Marvelous Monday, our little podcast flees your preferred provider app, and of course, we are back here on the Tubes of You every Wednesday and Friday for our fanfic reads on Wednesday, and of course, this little show drops every single Friday morning, both at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Bandcamp for all you fabulous folks there. And if you are digging what you hear, maybe you'd like to see a couple pictorial references from time to time, and you can do so by checking us out on Instagram at Disinformed Podcast. But I believe that is going to give us a little bit of cessation finally. But if you're enjoying what you're hearing here, Michael's got a little instruction for you.
You can smash that like button, ring that bell, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment.
All right. Thank you all for being here. We sincerely appreciate you navigating the tumultuous little river of our trains of thought, as it were. But,
Help, I'm drowning.
For Chuck Klosterman this week, and for Disinformed After Dark, I am Kenton Eldorado.
Thanks for being a good boy, Chuck. I'm Timothy Lone Cactus.
It's great not having you in timeout. And I'm Robert Greer.
And I'm Jean Grey Ghost.
And speaking of good boys, Kevin.
Oh, Kevin.
Oh.
What?
Careful with your sniffer there, bud. I was going to say, our thoughts and prayers go out to all of you out there. But remember, we always want to extol the virtue that you must occasionally live, laugh, and Kevin.